Welcome back. So ActionSA has called on President Cyril Ramaphosa to act decisively against the Justice Minister Thembi Simelane amid her alleged links to the VBS scandal. Simelane allegedly accepted a loan of over R500,000 from a company linked to the looting of the now defunct VBS Bank. News24 and the Daily Maverick reported that she used the money to buy a coffee shop in Sandton. At the time, Simelane was the mayor of Polokwane. ActionSA's MP Athol Trollip says Simelane must either be placed on suspension or resign.
So there are two options as far as I'm concerned. One, that she should resign. That's the noble option. And the second one, that she should be placed on suspension, pending the outcome of the investigation and until it is finally concluded. But that doesn't seem to be the course that's followed by the ANC and now still even under the new GNU. It's the prevarication that we have seen all too often with President Cyril Ramaphosa. This doesn't require prevarication. This requires decisive leadership, and the minister needs to have her name cleared expeditiously, and if not, she needs to be suspended or she needs to resign. So that's what we're calling for. And if she's innocent, if while during suspension or even in resignation she can prove her innocence, that's fine.
And let's now explore the conversation with political analyst Dr Levy Ndou. Dr Levy, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. Let's start off from where Athol Trollip ended off in that clip, and that is the decisive action that needs to be taken by the president. And if we look back at how the president has dealt with issues that where members of his executive, including himself, are implicated, he always speaks about the process and trusting this process, then the process must be followed. I wonder this time around, do you think with a government of national unity and perhaps maybe the pressure that could come internally, that we could see action, considering that he's also asked the minister now to explain what happened?
Good morning, Aldrin. Good morning to the viewers. Over the weekend, Reverend Chenwani Farisani was celebrating his birthday, and he had to hand over food parcels to the victims of the VBS Bank. There are two factors. The first factor is that the minister could have got a loan legitimately like any other citizen who could get a loan from the bank. Number two, the minister could have got the loan through corrupt means, and it might not even be a loan, it could have been a bribe. What therefore should happen is that whether we want a quick process or not, the minister has got many things to do. The first thing in my view is that the president could not have even written to the minister. The minister could have quickly, voluntarily went to the president to explain herself, because whether she likes it or not, this is the matter that would attract a lot of interest. And obviously, because of the issues relating to corruption and integrity, you need those that are mentioned to act quickly so that they're able to clear their names. But there are a number of other processes that are supposed to be followed. Firstly, because the minister is the member of the ANC, the minister is to go to the Integrity Commission of the ANC for her to be cleared. Number two, she is accountable to the president. She's also accountable to the South African population. So you don't need the minister to be silent on these kind of issues. But there could be pressure coming from the ANC, pressure coming from opposition parties and ordinary citizens to see action being taken. My view is that if there is an agency on matters relating to corruption and wrongdoing, these are the processes that are supposed to be followed, are supposed to be done as quickly as possible so that you are able to inform the public through your actions that you are quite serious about fighting corruption and all forms of criminality.
Yeah. And in general also, she is a member of parliament. We've seen other members of parliament that are implicated in corruption, at least two of those, Siyabonga Gama as well as Brian Molefe, who are currently in court in relation to the roles that they play, the allegation of corruption at Transnet. And I wonder, as South Africans, should we care about MPs being sworn in to protect and uphold the Constitution, while also they are implicated in scandals relating to corruption. And as we've indicated, at least with Siyabonga Gama as well as Brian Molefe, they are actually in court over those allegations.
It is quite unfortunate that when you look at the bar for people to become public representatives, it is quite very low. And there are many areas that have not been looked at because I think the perception that those who drafted the requirements thought that will always get people of integrity to become public representatives. And now that it is possible for anyone, even those that are seriously tainted, to become public representatives, it is time now that our own lawmakers, and unfortunately, they are the very same people who are sitting in parliament, should be able to look at these kind of areas and amend them in a manner that it will create integrity and trust amongst those that are referred to as public representatives. And with Siyabonga Gama and Brian Molefe, unfortunately, you do not have the Integrity Commission in the MK party, unlike in the ANC. So they could not go through such processes. But the decision to include people that are tainted says a lot about such political parties. But we must not forget that even in the ANC, we still have some that are still public representatives who are tainted, who have also been mentioned in the State Capture Commission. Yeah. And my view is that the journey is still going to be very, very long.
Yeah. What rules do you change and how do you change those rules, considering that if you look at the Constitution, there are, I think, only about 3 grounds that a person can be barred from becoming a public representative, which includes whether the person has been declared insolvent. There's also the conviction of the individual and whether the court has declared the person is of sound mind or not. So on what grounds would we say that people who are implicated in corruption should not be sworn in as members of parliament?
There was a discussion before 1994 about eligibility for individuals to become public representatives. And some of those spoke to those who have been charged or those who have once been arrested for serious crimes. And the argument at the time was that decision could potentially prevent those who have been arrested during apartheid rules or apartheid laws not to become public representatives. And that was relaxed. And I think 30 years beyond democracy, we should be able to revisit some of this kind of decisions. Remember, Aldrin, being a public representative should not be something taken very, very low. And also, it should also talk about the requirements for membership or eligibility, because if you look at membership, you only need to be 18 years and only have a South African ID and being a voter, and that is it. And my view is that we need to be able to set the bar a little bit higher so that we're able to get correct and eligible and trusted people that could be able to become our representatives.
The public protector has been roped in by ActionSA to investigate these allegations against Minister Simelane. And once again, it is the public protector's office investigating a case against a member of the executive, if they do indeed go ahead with that investigation. What then do we do with the perception of the public protector's office as well, and how previously the public protector's office was seen to be embroiled in the politics of the day?
It is unfortunate that you'll get instances where some people will end up not trusting the office of the public protector. And I think it is important for those that are given the responsibilities to run these institutions that support our democracy to act in a manner that does not demonstrate any form of biasness, that does not demonstrate any form of taking sides, because that also has a potential to compromise the office of the public protector. My view is that the public protector and any other person who has these institutions, when you assume such responsibilities, you must cease to be yourself. You become a person who is there to entrench and ensure that democracy and fairness is practiced, and you do that in the best of your ability and in the interest of all the citizens. But at this stage, where else could we go except going to the public protector? All that we expect is that the public protector should be able to conduct her business in the best interest of all of us.
Dr. Levy Ndou, thank you so much for your time. Political analyst there, speaking to us about members of parliament implicated in corruption, including a member of the executive that is Thembi Simelane. And we actually do expect her to appear before parliament on Friday. So there's an expectation that she could be responding to some of these allegations.